And here we are.
Hi there, folks.
Hello, welcome. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday to you. Well, between the time that we took our little picture for the broadcast and now, Kareem decided to come in and he wanted to be on the air for a while too. So
hello, big boy.
I picked him up and put him up there. I don't know how long he'll stay around, but for right now, he's here.
Let's see if I can get you more in the picture.
Oh,
there
okay.
we go.
Actually, I prefer to be less, but
well, they want to see Kareem.
That's true. Yeah, they want to see Kareem. You're right about that. How's my big boy today? How's my big Kareem?
Oh my goodness! Hello, Ron. It's good to see you.
Hey, Ron. How you doing?
My goodness, we've got 6 people watching already.
7.
That was fast.
Yeah.
We are doing very well. Thank you, Ron. We've been sort of in lockdown for many, many months, but so we don't go out much, and we're staying very healthy, or as healthy as we were before it all started. How about you? How are you doing? And please forgive my hair; it's very wet. I just stepped out of the shower. You too? I'm glad to hear it. That is great news. I titled the live stream today "Questions" because I got a group of questions here, some about the quarantine and what's going on, and others about other things. And what I thought we might want to do is we might ask a question and give folks, a minute or two to put an answer up in the chat site and just go back and forth. You cut your grass for the 6th time? Oh my goodness, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people taking real good care of their yards. I've been seeing on Facebook, the group that we frequent here in Cibolo and Schertz, is people have been putting up pictures of their projects and how well they're tending their yards. And I saw one just earlier today of a guy that apparently built a playhouse for his kids. And I mean, this is a pretty fancy deal. And they did it all in a day and a half.
Hi, Lisa. Good to see you.
Hi, Lisa. And I've seen other people. One guy was putting down paving blocks and things of that sort, all down the side of his house, made a path and put in paving blocks. Did he just poop down my back?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So
you're okay.
So a lot of people have been using this time constructively. Either that or they just keep from going nuts. Ron wants to know if you got his book.
Did I get your book? I have a cheat sheet, the best yard in town. Ron, no, I haven't gotten your book. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I did. What's the title of it? I've got an awful lot of books in there.
What are you doing there, Kareem? What you doing there, big fella? That's my big boy.
Grab something to write with so I can make notes.
Let's see. Come here.
Oh, no. It hasn't come yet. It's on order, but it has not come yet.
That's my big guy. That's my big guy today. Huh? You see Mr. Kareem there in that screen, don't you? Yeah. He loves seeing himself on screen. He really does. Yeah, he knows he's a handsome fella. Don't you? Who is that? Who is that standing there, huh? Peekaboo. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Lisa's reclaiming the jungle that used to be a flower bed in her front yard. It's now a grass mat, planting melons as soon as the frost ends. Good for you.
He's a big boy.
Isn't he a handsome boy?
He's my big fella.
He really is a good guy.
He's a pretty handsome guy.
Yeah. He's the oldest of our 3. He's in his 20s now.
Yeah, he's about mid-20s.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. He's my big fella.
And he is just a real sweetheart.
He can be.
Although sometimes he gets in a bad mood and you never know.
Like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
He doesn't want to be touched. He'll let you know.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy. Yeah, I miss it. Yeah, I miss it. Luckily, when they go to bite you or nail you, I mean, I've got a lot of scars, but he telegraphs pretty well. Took me a long time to learn about it, but figure it out. But
I think he
they're not all that fast. Cockatoos are incredibly fast, and as are Amazons. Whenever they nail you, it's quick like snake. These guys at least give me a little bit of enough of a telegraph, enough of a warning where I can
I
usually
see you.
avoid getting really hurt. But sometimes he gets me. If I'm not paying attention, he will get me. What are you doing? Oh, you just peeking at yourself. Aren't you just showing off?
I thought he was trying to decide to get down on the table or not.
I'm not going to let him on the table.
Well, what do you say we start with the questions?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, question number 1. Now remember, we're going to ask the question, give a couple of minutes to answer, and then read the answers and talk about it. So, question number 1 is, how many rolls of toilet paper do you have at this moment? Hi, Tracy. A lot of manual labor, but we're waiting for the delivery of peach and cherry tree. Oh, that's cool. Lisa, you'll love that. My peach trees are actually blooming this year, and I've got baby peaches, so I'm very excited.
Kate's done a real good job with our food forest. We've got a lot of stuff out front. I went out and she showed me everything the other day that she's got going. She's got celery that's coming up. She's got pineapples that are coming up. She's got peach trees and all kinds of stuff. So she's doing a real good job outside and spending a lot of extra time taking care of it. So that's the important thing, I guess, is it takes time. It takes time. Which right now we seem to have an abundance of. So, okay, let's see. Oh, Ron's only 6 rolls, Ron. My God. How are you going to survive? But at least he's got 75 to 100. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I can understand that too, Lisa. With
well, no, at her house, she has 7.
Yeah.
75 to 100. I think she's talking about her at the office.
Oh, okay.
Now, I buy ours in bulk, and right now, I haven't bought any since the pandemic started, but right now we've got 18 rolls as of last night.
Lisa Lee was saying 75 to 100, not Lisa Johnson.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that your husband has stomach cancer.
Yeah.
Just,
I thought we saw that, or he saw it and told me. Thanks, Lisa Johnson.
A very strange thing happened this week to me. Basically, I'm an only son or an only child. My half brother, some 16 years older than me, pretty much left home about the time I was born. And I've had very little contact with any of my relatives over the years. And all of a sudden, earlier this week, I get a letter from
the family.
Yeah, to the family, from Sue Ann Riley, who is actually my cousin. And she and I were kind of raised together for a few years. We lived just, a stone's throw from one another. And she reached out and was trying to find me. So I called her back. And come to find out that she lost her husband last November after 53 years of marriage to pretty pervasive cancer through a lot of his organs. And we've talked a time or two on the phone since then. We've been reaching out with texts and sending pictures back and forth. And, we got a lot of catching up to do. But she still lives in the same place in Arizona that she was in. Don't be tearing my tube up. The last time I was out in Arizona was many, many years ago when my mother passed away. That was the last time I was there. And I went to Sue Ann's house during that visit, and she's still in the same place. So
Tracy, that sounds awesome. She made chili on a fire pit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they wanted to sleep out in the polytunnel, but she couldn't find the sleeping bag.
Oh, that would be fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Next question. What has been the biggest change in your life since the lockdown? And we'll wait a couple of minutes.
That's.
What's been the biggest change in your life? And much of anything?
Not a lot, no. I mean, granted, I don't. I don't have a life. So things really haven't changed a whole lot for us. I mean, obviously, it's we're getting a lot of food delivered. Excuse me. If there's any going out to be done, Kate does it. She got a hold of a couple of those N95 masks, so now I feel a little bit better about her going out, because before she was just using the paper mask, surgical mask, and that just Okay, it might be semi-effective, but I think these N95 masks are supposed to be a lot better for getting the very, very small viruses. So I was glad to see she got those. So she got one for each of us.
And the biggest change in my life has been I don't go out to eat lunch with my best friend right now. And she and I used to do that a couple of times a week because she lives in a different town. So we'd meet somewhere in the middle and have lunch together. So Lisa says zero change except something got the virus. I couldn't do the weekly pharmacy runs, but Dan's hospice nurse has been great. Oh, that's wonderful. I tell you what, the hospice nurses that helped with my former husband when he was passing were wonderful. They just were so marvelous. It was the very help.
Well, I imagine he was surprised. I mean, chili over, thinking about chili made over an open fire, that just sounds really good.
Uh-oh. I may end up having to go make some on my rocket stove.
Well, it seems like it'd just be a different level of chili,
Yeah.
Tracy says she's working in a shop, so she goes out 3 times a week.
Lisa, you can't stand how regal the bird is watching us. He is quiet, isn't he?
Yeah, they can be that.
All 3 of them are that way. It's amazing. Lisa Johnson, no real change in the daily activities, but finding it difficult to find staples at the grocery store.
Going to work every day. Lisa, obviously you're in an essential field then.
Yeah. And Tracy says it was fun.
Yeah, making the chili, I'm sure it was. Yeah. Too bad you couldn't find those sleeping bags, though. That would have been fun, too.
Well, did you have a couple of big quilts you could have thrown down and slept on?
Well, probably not, since you didn't.
Well, you never know. Some people it might not have occurred to.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, question number 3. Where are you currently parked or docked?
Docked?
Yeah, well, some people live on houseboats.
Okay.
It's being open for everybody. They're affected too.
Okay. So where are you pitching your tent this week, huh?
Right. Okay, where are you currently parked?
Right here.
Where's your truck currently parked?
Well, as far as I know, it's out in the driveway, darling. And
That's right.
It's been over 2 months since I've even been inside a vehicle.
Yep. Lisa,
there was some chicken poop in the tunnel. Okay, well, that's why. That's a good reason. Outside Reno, Nevada. Ooh. I've been to Reno. Great little town. It really is. It's just kind of what's the name? What's the slogan for Reno? The biggest little town in the world, something like that.
I don't know. I've never been to Reno.
Interesting little town. I mean, it's takes second fiddle to Las Vegas, but it's a pretty cool little town. Parked at home. No working at the office today for Lisa. I have a client who's been emailing me every few minutes the last couple of days.
Eli, hello. It's good to see you. Biggest changes, you don't get to see your father?
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. Both of my parents are 91, and I still go to their home because they still live at home. And I see them. I try and see them once a week, although sometimes I can't.
The biggest little city. That's what Reno is, yeah.
Okay. Lisa Lee was 85 this week. Not expecting a freeze next 2 nights.
Yeah, just before I came in here, I looked at the thermometer. We've got a weather station that shows outside and inside, and it said 85 outside. So it has been just ungodly hot. The spring sprang real early.
Yeah,
what says Lisa now expecting
week.
Stupid Fingers? Is that that's a good name? But I get Stupid Fingers every now and then too. I was typing along the other day. I don't even remember now what I was writing, but sometimes I don't actually look at the keyboard. I'm just kind of stream of consciousness stuff.
Stares off in the distance.
And I had my right hand on the wrong keys. So when I looked up, I had like a half a paragraph written in it. I looked at it and okay. Because of course every word was screwed up. But yeah, it doesn't happen often, but because I got the little bumps there, the little tactile bumps that I can feel, but I had my fingers one key over to the right, so everything was just kind of screwed up.
I have
Looked
that.
like I was writing in code.
That happens to me often, but because of my neuropathy from my cancer, I can't feel the little buttons, the little bumps on the buttons. So I'm never on the right buttons. I have to back up and retype a lot.
I got a question for you. This one's just kind of generically, but what do you consider to be probably the most significant thing that you've had to do without recently because of the quarantine and isolation and stuff? What have you done without that has just kind of popped into your head that when this is all over, I ain't doing without that no more? So it's
Awkward without a correct my granddaughter. I call her Vanna. It continues.
well, I'll tell you what, Lisa. Anytime that I get a new computer, the first thing that I do is I go through. I use an Open Office. It's a clone of Words, but I don't have, it's open source, so I don't have to pay for it. I go into my options and I turn off the dictionary. I turn off spell check. I turn off autocorrect, and anything else that's going to, suggest anything to me. I don't need it. Is the short version. My mother worked with me a lot when I was a little kid. I spell very well. I took 2 years of typing in high school, which ended up being the best courses I ever took in my life. I can probably type at 100 words a minute, even still. And I do not use autocorrect. I can usually spot my. It's really odd. I can take a sheet of paper, and it can be full of type, and you can misspell one word on that page,
And he finds it.
and it glows. I can just look at the page and see the misspelled word. It's bizarre, but it has a little glow around it for some reason. So, if I wanted to be a grammar Nazi or a spelling Nazi, I would be the world champion because I literally can see a misspelled word on a page, even in a book. Every now and then you come across a misspelling in a book.
I do that often.
And it's really bizarre. Okay, what have we been doing without?
Lisa Lee's done without eggs and most meat because they don't rely on delivery and it's often not in stock. I'm very fortunate in that I've canned all kinds of meat. I've dehydrated eggs and that sort of thing. So we've been very fortunate in that.
And Lisa
Johnson says doing
without a working oven. Oh my, that's significant there.
Yes, that is. That would be terrible. Someone could turn it off on my phone. I'd love it. Are you on the phone, Lisa Lee?
That's going to be in your settings, in your options. And you can do it. You might have to actually look it up. I don't know what kind of phone you got, but it's going to be in your settings, and you can turn off your autocorrect and auto suggest and all that kind of stuff.
Ron says he ran out of meat for the barbecue and he won't let that happen again. It's time to order a full cow for the deep freezer. Even his dogs look at the freezer and think funny now. Yeah, I would like to have a big freezer to put a bunch of barbecue stuff in too. I kind of miss barbecuing, but I'm just glad we got food, I'm really pleased that we have enough to get along with. So.
Yeah, we were reading the other day about whether or not it's going to come to pass about this potential meat shortage.
Potential food shortage, period.
Well, I mean, it seems to be a lot of it is kind of revolving around meat, but Kate was saying we don't have we have a lot of stuff put up, and a lot of our meat is canned already or put up. So we've got that sort of covered. She's done a lot of chicken and a lot of hamburger and things of that sort.
And now some ham too.
Yep.
Pork.
If I have to ask myself, what have I gone without recently?
Well, I know what I've done without recently that I'm going to get when it comes back.
What?
Hugs. I miss hugging people. I am a hugger, and I miss being able to hug someone when I see them, especially my best friend, which we have not seen since the start.
Pine City Apiary. Hi, thanks for coming.
Hello, Paul. It's good to see you.
Lisa said she's been trying to bake small stuff in her air fryer. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Make do with what you
I
got.
have a sun oven, and I've done some things in the sun oven. So, ordered ribs
Wow,
today for
20-pound slab of pork ribs. That had to be expensive.
Really, and a huge amount of meat if you've got a lot of folks coming.
Well, I take that back. If you're getting them already cooked, it's expensive. If you just bought 20 pounds of pork ribs that you're going to do yourself, that's
Expensive.
not
Pork
too
is,
bad.
Well, depending on the part of the country here, pork is almost $3 a pound. Let's see. Tracy said, while people were panic buying, I was picnic seed sowing, so now I have lots of veggies growing. Very good, Tracy.
Good for you, Tracy.
Smart of you to do that. I've got a lot of tomatoes growing, and I've got a lot of potatoes growing, and a whole lot of different herbs, but I haven't done any other veggies other than those two.
She's got some very nice plants outside though right now. She's got some good stuff coming up.
Yeah, they're really looking good. Okay, the next question is, what are you most grateful for?
During the quarantine and stuff, just kind of generically. These are obviously open-ended questions, I guess you could say, but what we're looking for is, $20 for a slab. That's
she said the slab goes from her hip to her head, and she's 5'7". Oh my goodness gracious! Hi,
sounds like
Plains Ministed. Hello
good meaty,
and welcome.
Good meaty
nice
ribs.
to meet you.
From New Mexico. Great place. Great state. I love New Mexico. Ron said he got a viral video about the meat, got 85,000 views. More info has come out. I'll be doing another video about the food shortage. It's global. Yeah, I have no doubt.
And Ron is most grateful for his dogs.
Tracy,
that her girls are still healthy.
We don't give nearly enough credit to farmers, do we?
That's true. What are you most grateful for, honey?
For you, my dear.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. I tell the Lord every day how grateful I am for my Kate.
Lisa Lee is grateful for surviving the virus and the generosity of family and friends who have gone beyond kindness to support us during this time. Nothing is more important than people.
Lisa, that's very profound. You're absolutely right.
I agree. We've been very surprised. There have been so many people in our area who have shown up at our house and asked to help us, go to the store for us, run any errands, cut our yard, whatever. There have been people from all over that have been doing that. It's such a blessing, and I'm really grateful for that. But most grateful for it's got to be David.
And Lisa Johnson's getting to see her grandkids about once a week. That's probably a real shot in the arm for you right there, Lisa, when they come by, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, that would be really nice.
I do get hugs from my parents, and I get hugs from David, but like I said, I'm a hugger, and I miss being able to hug lots of folks.
Huggy.
Oh.
I haven't been hugging her enough, though, I'll tell you that. I was thinking about that
last night,
that I haven't been hugging her enough. Lisa said Lee is so used to being independent, being forced to accept help has been a good lesson and so humbling. Same here, as my abilities have declined. Accepting help from people in areas where I have always been perfectly capable of doing for myself has been very difficult. It really has.
And I had to learn that lesson about 11 years ago when I had my second bout with cancer, and I was alone, and my best girlfriend's daughter moved into my house with me to care for me. And even at that, it was hard to ask for help, and it was a real blessing when I finally got it through my head that she was there to help, that my daughter was in town and wanted to help, that my sister was in town and wanted. There was just a lot of people that wanted to help, and I had to learn to accept it. So let's see, Lisa Lee, one day I want to hug you both so tight you cry for mercy. You always have my first.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
I'm ready for that one, honey. I am ready for
Iron
that.
Fire Horse. Hello there.
Hello, how are you, Iron Fire Horse? It's
Good to see
you.
It's,
Welcome.
It's getting to where some of these people come by. I feel like I haven't seen them in a month of Sundays.
Yeah. We're asking questions today, mostly due to the pandemic, but not necessarily. And our most
Next
recent one was, what are you grateful for? So think about it for a minute and let us know, what are you grateful for?
Yep.
I'm so glad you're doing well. That is
If I had to say, not counting you, it's an abundance of entertainment options.
Yeah.
When my disability from the VA came through, they give you back pay, and ours came to several $1,000s, and of course slapped that in the bank, really quick. And then I got to thinking about it, and I said, okay, we deserve one splurge out of this money. So I started looking around and decided that I thought we had a 45-inch flat screen TV, and I said we need a bigger TV. So I started looking around, and I probably spent 2 weeks browsing
At least
around out
2
there.
weeks, maybe more.
I mean, I dug. I did a lot of research. I was not going to just run out there and grab whatever caught my fancy. I did some research on it. So we ended up buying an 80-inch television set and had Best Buy come out, put it up on the wall, get everything set up. It has Roku built in. We already have Amazon Prime, so we've got our video service through them. We belong to Netflix, so we've got that,
and
then
Redbox.
and of course got Redbox. But Roku also provides a lot of different platforms, most of which are free. Some of them are premium, but we don't have HBO or Cinemax, those kinds of things. But I'll tell you what, if we can't find something to watch on TV, then we just ain't looking. So
Lisa Lee says she's grateful for all the YouTube creators who give her joy while being locked up at
I
home.
think, Kate, you could probably say that too. You've been watching a lot of creators
Oh
lately.
yeah, I do. I watch a lot. I've got 700 or 800 followers that I watch regularly.
I don't know.
I'm all over the place all the time.
I know anytime that I happen to see her inbox in mail, she's got more notifications than I could ever shake a stick at.
I get over 200 emails a day, and most of them are notifications.
High Plains Ministed is grateful for family. Well, hi, thank you for coming by too, by the
Not
way.
just blood family, but the church family.
Church family. Us too. I haven't been able to meet him face to face, but I do our pastor has finally decided to record sermons, and I'm the one doing the video editing, and I'm loading it up to a YouTube page that's kind of under my account. So he came by yesterday evening, and he uses one of our phones, a phone that is an extra for us. It doesn't have a phone number, but of course it's still an electronic device. So he uses that to record his videos and then brings it back, and I pull a little card out, and then I go in there, and it's very easy to edit and put some titles and things of that sort on his videos and then upload them. It takes forever to upload, but I've been doing that for our church. And
Lemon seeds from our lemonade.
yeah, I miss our church family too.
We go to a real tiny country church. I don't think it even has 300 members, and on an average Sunday, there's probably 30, maybe 35 shows up.
On a good day.
Yeah, and the majority of the people that come are over 60. I think our pastor is one of the youngest people in the church, and he's in his mid-50s. So,
quite a few of them are older than us, and
yeah,
we're up in our 70s already. So.
Yeah. So our church, when it got bad, the pastor made the decision to go ahead and close it. And so this being able to see a video really has helped a lot of our folks stay in contact. And I know they're so grateful that they can see him.
Well, I'm very grateful that number one, that I get to see his sermons, because he's a very good preacher, and
very down to earth teacher.
He finds a lot of
Hi, Lori.
significance in passages that I would just kind of blow by and not really think about very much. And he opens it up for us a lot.
Eli,
Hi, Lori.
There are some of us, Eli, who do watch a lot of TV, but we've been locked down for a long time.
And Lori Lumax, hi there. Glad to see you here.
Okay,
And,
our next question. How long has it been since you've been at a campsite? Think about that one. It's been forever for me.
50 years.
Lisa Johnson says, our church has been live streaming for over a year, but lots more watching now since many are elderly. I even watched a live stream funeral last week. Still a week. Oh my goodness.
I've not seen one of those.
That's amazing. Okay. Last time I was at a campground, my daughters were still at home and they were in junior high, and my oldest daughter is 43 as of last month. So it's been quite a while.
All right, this a bit of a story. And I'm not sure which one I should tell. The last time I was at a campground was outside of Valencia, Spain. And my then wife and our kids were there, and the oddest thing happened. We're sitting there outside our tent and stuff like that, and this big old huge bus pulls up. I mean, a bus, a big bus. I mean, this was, bigger than a Greyhound bus, and it had about a 20-foot trailer on the back of it.
Huh.
So it was, it was huge. And about 50 people come piling out of this bus, and they were all Germans.
Oh.
And as it turned out, the bus was their tour bus. They slept on it. They had they had bunks that pulled out from the side of the
kind of like
bus,
the
like
sleeping
a
cars
sleeping thing, yeah. And the trailer was their kitchen and pantry and all that stuff. And they, I guess the staff or the people did all their cooking on this trailer. Well, this was, this was a long time ago. This was probably 40 years ago. So I was fascinated, and not being one to not go looking, I went over and kind of struck up a conversation with them. Most Germans speak English to some degree, so it wasn't hard to find somebody that could kind of explain to me what was going on. But that was very interesting in that these folks were going, I guess, all over Europe. But Valencia is a very big tourist place, and they, 45 or 50 people all came piling out of this bus. And I thought, at a campground, at a campground, yeah, and it did make it pretty busy. Let's see. High Plains Ministed went to Coyote Creek last year on a day trip. Met their daughter and grandson from Colorado. Had a good day fishing, visiting, and a picnic lunch.
Lori Lomax said she lives in a town just west of a park and lake, but she doesn't go there often. She prefers their lake-like yard. I guess it's been a year to my sister's cabin.
Well, Iron Firehorse said she'd been to a campground but walked back to the condo to sleep. Too many drunks out at night.
I've noticed, I noticed when I was there that was beginning to be the case, that you would go to a campground with your children and you'd have to go home early because too many of the adults there were drinking and getting loud. So I agree. High Plains Ministed said that they went to Coyote Creek last year. Oh, you just read that. That is cool.
Yep. And Lori Lumack said she lives in a town just west of a park and lake. But she says, I prefer our lake-like yard. That'd be nice.
And Lori has kittens, indoor kittens.
And
Are
Single
these
Man
house
says
cat kittens?
Been 20 years since Single Man's been out camping. Yeah, you're right, Iron Firehorse. Tourists just have no shame.
That's the world over.
Kate and I have talked frequently about, if we had a camper, I'm talking about
one of those extreme RVs is what I want.
The big RVs. We'd probably go tooling around, but man, anymore, these campgrounds are just nothing but big party places.
Yeah, unfortunately.
50BG just checked in. Hi there.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by.
Are we ready for the next question?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
Okay, let me cross off the one we just did.
Ooh, here's a good one. What has become your favorite quarantine food? What's your go-to for when you got hankerings? Let me have your pen there, if you don't mind.
Pencil?
Yeah, that one. So what's your favorite quarantine food?
Thank you, Lisa. Iron Firehorse with the
Yeah, box truck.
and she's headed for.
You ever watch there's a show on TV that where they show the building of various RVs, and a lot of them are really, really extreme. One that I watched the other day, you could drive this thing off a cliff, I think, but it was definitely an extreme RV as far as where it could go. And then the other end of that is how luxurious can you make it? Some of those, there was one there was going for, I think it was eight. Well, some of them are worth well over $1 million.
Yes.
But this one they were building was $850,000, and and they're talking about granite countertops in the little kitchen area,
Travertine tile on the floor.
and what was it? 20 miles of wiring just for the lighting system, because it had the whole ceiling was saturated with LEDs, and they could all change colors, so it'd be like a light show.
High Plains Ministed says Mexican food. She made chili rellenos. It was the bomb. Got the recipe from YouTube, Brock and Robin. Cool. Yeah. And Lisa says her favorite quarantine food is her canned vegetables made into a variety of dishes. She know they're wholesome and safe.
Yeah, there you go.
I like mine too.
Soups, chili, and other stuff in the Instant Pot. Yeah, Lisa, you kind of got a situation there to deal with, don't you? Mexican, chili rellenos. I haven't had those in a long time. Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you reminding folks.
Yeah. What's our favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I really don't.
I tell you,
I take it back. Maybe the corned beef hash I made from scratch. That was really good and really new.
Yep.
I'd never tried that before. I made a big corned beef right at the beginning of the pandemic, and we had a lot of it left over, and I made sandwiches, and I made this, and I made that, and one day I just decided I was going to make corned beef hash, and it was awesome.
It was good.
It was really good. Iron Firehorse uses a crock pot for almost everything.
One of the favorite things is what we had last night. Is that what's the name of that place?
Caparelli's.
Caparelli's. It's an Italian restaurant that's nearby.
Oh my goodness!
And they do deliver. So last night I had more of their spaghetti and meat sauce is really, really good.
Yeah. Lisa Lee says she's down to
2 jars of roasted hatch chilies. Uh-oh. Yeah.
That's something that I can't have. I'm very allergic to all forms of peppers, so we don't eat any kind of peppers or chilies here at all.
Yeah, that's kind of put a bit of a wrinkle in my diet, but oh well. It's something I can easily give up.
And it's something that if you really, really miss it, I can cook it for you with a mask on so I don't inhale the steam.
Single man said he'd starve without his crock pot.
I was that way for a long time. Now I'm also using the Instant Pot and my Sun Oven. I was going to make something in the Sun Oven today, but I just got busy and didn't get it out there in time. So,
well, now the guys live up front of us. It used to be Kate's sister, and she passed away, but her husband stayed there, and a lifelong friend of his has moved in and now has bought the place, which we were really glad of, because it could have gotten sold out from under us, and we wouldn't know who was living up there. But anyway, his name is David, and our brother-in-law's name is Ron. And the other day, David and Ron cut some limbs off a tree, and David has hung on to some of the little bitty branches for Kate's rocket stove. So he's going to bundle some of those up and bring them down. So I think Kate's going to have to find an excuse to use her rocket stove here shortly. Okay, Lisa, High Plains Ministed said, Lisa, I thought I was going to have so many jars left, but we've been doing a lot of cooking with chilies last week. Made a cream of green chili soup. Oh, that sounds good. Yep. So Iron Firehorse can make 3 days of food at once. Your daughter's moved home and they eat different than me. Okay.
We get about that much too, Iron Firehorse, because I had gastric bypass 10 years ago, so I eat about the same amount as a little kid.
Lisa Lee, go spend some time with those grandkids. That's really important. Thank you for coming by. We, as always, appreciate your presence here. So you have a good day, darling.
Hug them for us.
Appreciate those grandkids, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay, next
I don't
question.
have an air fryer, and I decided not to have one because my little kitchen small toaster oven has a setting on it that does the same thing as an air fryer. So I decided I
No,
didn't
not
need
exactly.
another
It works as a convection. I've been thinking
one.
about getting.
Convection with it, huh?
I've been thinking about getting an air fryer.
Okay.
I really have.
All right.
Next question is, I have no answer for this one.
Okay.
How are you exercising?
Oh, I know
Yeah.
how I'm exercising.
Well, she just takes care of me. That's all the exercise she needs.
No, I'm getting out and doing things in the garden.
Yeah, the garden. That's true.
I
You
do
are.
a lot
That's
of
true.
gardening. And that means lifting 40-pound bags of soil and that sort of stuff.
She's got a lot of them too. I was out there tooling around in my wheelchair the other day, and I didn't realize how much she had laid in as far as gardening supplies. And we've got this big table out by the carport, and I think there were about 15 bags, 40-pound bags.
Almost empty now. I have
Yeah.
to go get more.
Yeah.
'Cause I
A
found
whole
a
bunch of-
place,
oh,
David
my
found a
God.
place, and sent me the link where I could buy garden pots made out of soil that are huge, like 12 feet across and that sort of thing. And so we got one, or I
Thank
got
you,
two
Kareem. I
orders.
appreciate you crapping all over me.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Yeah. I'm pretty excited
nasty,
for that to get.
Enough of that. One more of those and you go back.
Yeah.
One more of those and you go back. That hurts my ears. Okay, let's see. Get a Kasari. You won't regret the extra basket space. So Lisa, okay, there's our expert on air pots, on our air fryers. Might get an air fryer for steak, but if you can't get beef, no points. You got to wait and see. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the food supplies. I mean, you know, they've always said that we're never more than 3 meals away from anarchy. That's pretty true. Yeah. Okay, Lisa says up until the last couple of weeks, just running back and forth, taking care of clients. They had snow 3 weeks ago, but now they can get out in the garden. Well, that's good. Iron Fire Horse greenhouses are opening tomorrow for pickup and delivery. That'll be nice too. Won't it? Yep. I think Kate's looking forward to getting out to some of the nurseries around here because this year seems to be so far anyway, a good year for stuff she's growing.
You want me to take him?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take him. You're probably gonna have to shut him in.
Say bye-bye.
You're a good boy, Kareem. Yeah, it's a good bird. Yes, you are. He's a big guy. He's quite a character. He's well, he's my old curmudgeon. I've had him for 20 years or better. Okay. Iron Fire Horse got caught in lockdown with over 30 roasts on him. That's good timing. You're right. Stocked up in December. Smart guy. Yep, that was smart. That was smart. Yep. Some people just have all the prescience, don't they? But of course, Kate's been planning for this since about 2016. So
Sorry about that, folks.
the rocket stove came about from the Dakota fire pit. Yeah, well, anything like that, rocket stoves, they have I mean, come to think of it, they probably had rocket stoves back in the days of caveman. People are, they innovate and they figure out how things work. I would imagine the first ones were probably made out of pottery and mud and clay and things of that sort, but it didn't take too long after they figured they'd cook meat over fire that they figured they could figure out a way to kind of channel that and make it work easier and faster and better. So rocket stove is just a nice name for it. But
I love my rocket stove. I haven't had a chance to use it very much, but
it's only used it a couple of times, but
Yeah.
it works great. I mean, it's does exactly what it's designed to do.
it made hot water faster than I could make it in my kitchen, turning on the tap. Let's see, Air Force, I buy them 3 times a year for $2.99 a pound. Otherwise, I would never be able to afford it. That's an awesome deal, Iron Firehorse. Is that
That's for the roasts, I guess.
yeah. Is
Yep.
that something where you do it online and they deliver it, or how do you come about with that? That's
Local-
so cool. $2.99 a pound for
We have
beef. Good beef is not bad at all.
We have there's a little town called Marion just a few miles from here, and they've got very well-known meat market called Pinchhorns. And if you want good meat, you go to Pinchhorns. And I think if we get through this, we'll probably start laying in some meat from there.
Well, they've been closed during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's what I
They
mean.
have not
If
been
they,
open
if they
much at
reopen,
all.
that'll be nice. You know, they're hurting too.
I used to, but we don't get the paper anymore, so I don't get to see the sales.
Well, you could if you wanted to. I do get the electronic version, but I still get the paper every day. I just don't
Yeah.
read it very much.
Right.
Okay.
Noticed their pattern 3 years ago.
What about selling the roast a couple times a year at low prices? I'm
Right.
thinking that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. I think that's what she meant.
Well, that's right.
Hmm?
Iron Fire Horse is a woman, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, duh.
I think if I remember right, her first name is Irene. I hope I remember right. By the way, we got the world map that we had talked about putting back here, and it's too small. You can't see anything, so we're
Yeah.
going to have to order a really big one.
I got to get a bigger one. The one I got I thought was going to be big enough. It was like 36 inches wide.
Mhm.
But by the time you get it up, now it's kind of a nice map. It's all laminated and everything else. But
It's a lovely map. It's just too
it
small
just-
for what
it
we
just-
need.
It just wouldn't work for what we wanted to do, which was put push pins in where all of our viewers and friends and people who hang out with us where they're from. So
And,
and
your first
I
name
apologize.
is Irene, right?
I
Irene?
apologize, Iron Fire Horse, for assuming that you were a man. I'm sorry about that. Maybe I'll remember now. I'm bad with names, folks.
He spent too much
am
time in the
I'm
military.
first to
It's
admit
right
it.
here.
I'm nomenclature impaired, I guess you'd say, something like that. Irene, yeah. Iron is my nickname. Yep.
Yay.
Okay. So exercising, basically nobody's exercising. I
Except
guess.
me.
Other than just running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a trick question. Why are you here today with us
On this
at
live stream.
this point in time? Why are you here with us? This is one that I thought of.
Air Force.
I was in the Air Force 20 years. My dad was World War II. He was infantry during the Second World War. And then he got out after the war was over and then rejoined, went into the Air Force, and he retired from the Air Force. My brother, 30 years in the Army. Between my brother, my dad, and myself, we've got 76 years of total active federal military service. My cousin Sue Ann has been
Oh, her husband retired in 94.
updating me about our family. She's been doing a lot of ancestry research. And I knew some of this stuff, but apparently our family, the Howell side of it anyway, we've got records going back to actually before the Revolutionary War, as far as people in this country with the name Howell in the military.
Lisa says she's here because she likes to talk to other like-minded people.
Well, that's
And
good.
Irene, the question was, why are you here today
Yeah.
with us on this live stream?
Yep. Yeah, I retired back in '87, High Plains. I've been out a long time. So
He's been out longer than he's been in.
I enjoyed my military career, though. I really did. I loved the Air Force. I didn't want to retire, but it was just a matter of, even back in '87, it was just getting to where they were. We didn't get along. I'll put it that way.
Canadian Armed Forces, is it just one branch, not like us where we've got the Army and the Navy and the Marines and the Air Force and all of that?
I think
Is
they have-
Canada only?
Pretty
The
sure
armed
I know. I
forces.
think Canadian does have at least an Air Force, and I'm pretty sure they have.
She said her
Some
husband
sort
was
of
in
a-
the Canadian Armed Forces. That's
Don't know if
why
they have
I
a
asked.
standing army or not, but I think Canada does have an Air Force. Okay, I like the fact that you give information from all different eras. Instead of watching television, I'd rather listen to the two of you talk.
Thank you, Thrifty. I appreciate that.
Here because
Irene-
I enjoy the down-to-earth chat, no drama, and you guys are awesome. Well, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you very much.
And Lisa said, stress the adults.
And talk with the kids,
Yeah.
everything is more like a teaching moment. Yeah, that's
He
true.
was in the Army part.
Ah,
Iron Fire
okay.
Horse was.
I afraid
Well, I tell you what, I've long maintained that I know a little bit about a lot of stuff and not very much about a few things and a little bit more about some things. But it's I'll put it this way. My former wife used to get pissed off at me because I knew so much. Little tiny trivial tidbits about stuff that makes absolutely no difference. I have no idea how I pick this stuff up. I just seem to absorb things, um, and then somehow it gets regurgitated out. But I guess I tend to retain what I see and what I read and all that sort of stuff. I think it surprises Kate sometimes when we're watching our nature programs,
used to.
and some weird looking animal comes on, and I know what it is by name because at some point I've seen that animal or pictures of it, and I can remember what it is. Uh, Case in point was pangolins. I mean, I knew
Thank
about
you,
pangolins
Eli.
a long time ago. Here for the smiles. Well, that's good.
High Plains Ministerstead, this is your first time here, and I'd love to know your first name and the area of the world that you're in.
Yeah,
So
just a
please
little
let
bit
us
about
know
yourself.
that.
We try to get to know the folks that join us, or at least Kate does. I forget. Now, that's something I don't remember is names and things of that sort. I remember a lot of other stuff, but I seem to have a very poor memory for names.
David does
But,
too, Irene. David has an amazing amount of just general knowledge. We watch sometimes.
Yeah, trivia shows. I generally kick butt on those.
Sometimes we watch a show on TV called The Chase, which has one of the supposedly most knowledgeable people in the world. He knows all kinds of trivia. And David and I are watching about, I don't know, maybe 85% of the time David answers before that guy does. So he knows a lot.
Well, I'd be terrified to go on there.
Yeah, I would too.
I would be
wouldn't be able to
terrified
do it.
to be in a competitive setting. And my brain would probably just draw a blank. I'm sure it would.
You remind Irene of her dad.
Yeah, I used to play Jeopardy a lot too. I always enjoyed playing Jeopardy. So anyway,
Hey, Broussard.
hey Broussards, hi there.
Which one of you is it? Amy, Brett, or Abby?
Nice to see you, whoever it is.
Yeah, it is. I love having you guys come
So
in.
I remind you of your dad, huh? Well, I'll take that as a compliment. I really will.
High Plains is Sharon. I live near Santa de Cristo Mountains in
New Mexico. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Sharon, thank you very much for coming by and being with us. And we're glad they're spending some time with us. We appreciate every person that joins us. This is kind of the high point. I'm not going to say that it's the high point of our
It's
week,
Brett.
but it is definitely the high point of our Sundays. We both very much look forward to these live streams. I've been trying to get in on Tuesdays. I just can't seem to get any viewership on Tuesdays. I've been trying to make it a local joiner kind of a thing, just trying to get people to join from the area where we live. And it seems like you folks, friends that we have here, are about the only ones that come by on Tuesday evenings. So it's gotten kind of spotty as to whether or not I do it. I haven't seen I haven't gotten very much positive reinforcement for it. So anyway.
And Irene
Okay.
says you don't have
Oh, I don't have a Glasgow accent.
though.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Welcome,
I
Brett.
wish I did. Brett's at work today. Okay. Well, good to see you,
Brett
Brett.
is a firefighter. So
Yep.
he goes into work, and if there's no fire, he gets to sit and play at the computer or do other things.
By the way, Brett, I don't think, you and I don't talk that much, but man, oh man, I'll tell you what, I admire your vocation. It's hard to say sometimes who you appreciate most in service professions, such as, emergency room workers or even doctors or police officers, firemen, firefighters, EMTs, things of that sort. But I think personally, the ones who have the most determination and courage are firefighters. I mean, you go out there and you have no idea what you're facing. and it's a very impersonal enemy. Fire doesn't care. And, if you're going out as a police officer, you got a gun in your hand and you have some idea of what you might be facing. But, a firefighter charges into a building.
True, Sheriff.
They have no idea
Or in our case,
what they're going to be
mail lady.
facing, what they'll be facing. Oh, yeah, mail carriers too. Yeah, you're right about that. That's true. Yes, everybody does have a link of very important places. But, if you start, some of the movies that I've seen over the years, whenever they are movies about firefighters, there's just something special about that particular field. I would never have the courage to be a firefighter. I know that for a fact. I couldn't do it.
And I was a volunteer firefighter in my 20s and absolutely had a wonderful, wonderful time doing it because I always felt like I was doing something that really mattered.
Well,
Brett
something-
says they have a mail lady too, and she's a sweetheart. Our
Yep.
mail lady is just
yeah,
wonderful.
she's a sweetheart too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I think this is. Oh,
Sharon, you're very welcome. I'm glad that you came here and do enjoy the retirement. I've been retired for 10 years. Dave's been retired for 8 years, and we truly love being retired.
yep, I do that. I didn't. I tell you, I probably freaked out the day I got laid off, but it was like
Forced retirement.
6 months before I was going to retire voluntarily anyway. So all I did was just move my timetable up 6 months. It probably freaked them out because, I went up to my desk, I tried to log into my computer, and it wouldn't log in. And I was keeping a journal at that time, and I jotted down in my journal, can't log in. So, computers either broke or they're trying to tell me something. Well, they were trying to
Irene,
tell me something.
Take care and stay safe, Irene. Thanks for coming by.
A couple minutes after that, somebody came by and said, you need to come with me down to HR. So I knew what it was. I knew immediately. And from the time I walked into the HR office, I had this big smile on my face. And I'm sure it probably freaked them out. They probably thought I was going to wig out. But I was happy. I was glad I was getting laid off. I mean, it accelerated a timetable that I didn't like where I was working. I was working for the Agency for Persons with Disabilities in Florida. And to be real honest with you, folks, that's the most screwed up agency in the state of Florida. I was very unhappy with what was going on there, with the way that they were doing business. They did a lot of good, yes. But the way they did it, to me, just really sucked. So anyway, here I am grinning through this whole process of them telling me they're letting me go. No, there's no severance pay. No, there's no benefits. The only thing was, I could apply for unemployment. But I was smiling the whole way, the whole time. Okay, fire, much like anything in nature, you have to understand its behavior and respect it in order to control it. That's the typical firefighter outlook. What?
For you guys, he left out one of the reasons why he was smiling. That is because we'd only been married 5 months at the time, and it gave us more time to be together, and that made him happy, and it made me real happy.
Yeah, it did. And well, let's see. Within a month after I got discharged, we moved back to San Antonio, and it was a good thing because we arrived on the day that was probably more pivotal than any other day could have been. It was. It's not a pleasant story, but Kate owned a house, and it was about to be rented out from under us, and we would have had a heck of a time trying to get those folks out of there had they moved in.
Yeah.
But we arrived just mere moments before they did. So when they came and said, we're moving in, no, you're not. So anyway, Iron Fire's got to go. All right, take care. Stay safe to you too.
And Brett, I was amazed when I started getting the training when I was a volunteer firefighter at the fact that fire truly can in some ways be understood and predicted on what it's going to do, how things are going to happen. Up to that point, I didn't think there was any kind of control to it at all. You just went out and sprayed water on it and hoped for the best.
I've seen the movie Backdraft probably 3 or 4 times. Every time I watch it, it's kind of an education. I imagine that's a training film for firefighters. The movie Backdraft.
Yeah. I had respect for firefighters beforehand, just like I had for police officers, but I had for police officers because my dad was a police officer. And once I got in there and did the firefighter thing and got the training, I was just in awe of the guys that went and did that. Why do you have those out?
Because I want to show people what you look like, what we look like.
Okay, you have to aim it.
Yeah, I will. We've mentioned that we had back in February they had what they were calling a senior prom, and it was for seniors. And the theme of it was the Roaring Twenties. And this is what our darling Kate looked like. Now, you can't see her whole outfit, but obviously that was. Isn't that a gorgeous picture of her? Huh? Isn't that nice? I love that picture. And then and this is the two of us. Yeah, I play around with them. I like to play around with pictures. And as you can see, I've got on my outfit too. And Kate's got her. You can see a little more around. That's punch, not booze, by the way. I don't drink. So, and I put a little frame around it. Kate wants me to put this one on regular photo paper, which I'll do, and then she's going to frame it. So I said, well, let me show you what it'll look like with a frame. So I enjoy playing with images. I've got quite a few different, well, I only use one anymore, but I've got some image software that I play with. I used to play with it all. That was my first love when I started getting into computers, was playing with images and, retouching them and things of that sort. Okay, time for next question. What was or will be your pandemic panic purchase? I think we're thinking here about what is it that you have realized that you need to have, maybe that you don't or that you already do, but what would you suggest to everybody else that they have on hand for a pandemic or a panic purchase? Come on, let's go.
Other than toilet paper.
Yeah, real stuff. Come on.
Toilet paper is pretty real if you don't have any and you need it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. One wonders what they did before toilet paper was invented, You really do.
I can tell what my quote-unquote panic buy was, but what I would tell other people to go, I don't know. When I knew that the pandemic was definitely coming, I looked into my pantry and realized that I had only some chicken in there, canned. I didn't have any other meat of any sort. And David and I are definitely carnivores. We like to have meat at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. So I went and bought some pork and some beef and canned it. So
yeah, pet food is something and bird food for us. We just discovered. Kate came to me with a list yesterday that she'd put together from some places that she'd been visiting through YouTube of what to lay in for emergency supplies. And I realized that we have quite a bit, but we don't have nearly enough bird food on hand because these guys eat pretty good. I mean, we got a case of peanuts sitting out there on the front porch right now. Every year after Christmas, around the first of the year, most of the big stores, they put all their seasonal nuts on sale for next to nothing. And 2 years ago, we bought over 100 pounds of mixed nuts. Now that was Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, almonds, pecans.
No.
Well, everything. It was just mixed nuts. And that lasted us for about a year. And so, because they do like nuts mixed in with their base food. Now, the base food is something else that we put together as well. Okay, no panic buys. I did stock up on a half a dozen number 10 cans of tomatoes.
Two Family is here. Hello, Two Family.
Wow.
Good to see you guys.
Long time no see. Good to see you here. Thank you for coming by.
Plenty of yeast and flour, but had to do some scrambling to get her daughter's household stocked with it. Yeah, I had plenty of that sort of stuff too because I keep fairly well stocked pantry, and I do roll it out because I cook out of my pantry. My pantry is not just storage. So I had most of that stuff. I had plenty of yeast. I had lots of flour. I think I've still got 40 or 50 pounds of flour back there.
But I'll tell you, pet food was
That,
whenever Kate mentioned that yesterday, I go, well, duh.
yeah.
Because, I mean, you don't think about it. I mean, we've got enough dog food, we've got enough cat food, but
Well,
if we had to
Florida.
go a month without any resupplies, we'd be hurting.
We'd start feeding the animals the stuff that we eat.
Yeah, I'm sure we
We
would,
would
but
have to.
still. But yeast and flour and things of that sort. I hadn't thought about that. Kate had, but I'm not the survivalist around here. Kate is, but thank God she takes care of me in so many ways. To family, it's nice to see y'all here. I haven't gone over to y'all's YouTube stuff in a long time, but I'm still using Filmora and still loving it. So
Yes.
still fight with it every week. Tonight,
He uses it for the pastor's sermons and for my videos.
today I'll be working on our pastor's sermon. His are real easy though. All I got to do is put in an intro and an outro, and
And a few transitions.
he does his sermon pretty much in one take, so it's pretty easy to do his. Kate's, on the other hand, that's a little more work.
Well, you have to wait in between on mine. I do things like if I make bread, I put it together, and then you have to let it rest. Then you bring it back.
That
You have
part's
to let it rest again. And
that part's not the problem, darling. That's not the problem.
I know it's my uhs and nows and things like that.
Yeah, I got to clean up her speech. She says a lot of nasty words. She cusses a lot.
I do not.
No, she doesn't. No.
My only panic
Livestock
button
feed.
is
Well, obviously that would
Yeah.
would be a biggie. Yep,
we don't have
that would be a
livestock.
biggie.
Although, sort of we do, because my brother-in-law up there and I went together, and his roommate, we went together this year, and we have chickens and ducks now. So we had to go get livestock food and a kennel to keep them in, and just all kinds of things like that. Lisa Johnson, Leaston Flour.
Fresh fruits and
common
vegetables.
staples
Yeah,
here.
had
That I
plenty of
usually have
yeast.
a couple 100 pounds. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see.
Sounds like you're pretty well prepared, Lisa.
Yeah, really. The thing I miss the most is fresh fruit and vegetables. I
Oh,
had
food
plenty
forest
of these.
permaculture came in too. How about that? Boy, we're getting.
Hello, Howie. It's good to see you.
It's a good thing we didn't cut off right at an hour, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I tell you, we really should hang out for at least part of that second hour.
Yeah, obviously we catch some late comers. That's cool. That's good.
Um,
The reason I don't more or less like going 2 hours, it just seems like we're taking a big chunk out of people's day if they hang with us the whole time. But of course,
but-
they can come and go as they wish. But
Sharon, my pantry was good too. Like I said, I've got 40 or 50 pounds of flour and all those other things. So I didn't have to do that. But I really, really was surprised when I looked at the pantry that I didn't have anything but chicken as a way of protein. Oh, and I did have some beans, but I didn't have any other forms of protein. And I really felt bad about that. So I
good boy.
The dog's learned how to
Dog
open
opened the door on his
himself.
own. Good boy.
He can't go out, but he lets himself in, and that doesn't make sense because the door that we have is a screen door. He could just push it and go out, but oh well. Howie's been planting like the wild man of the woods. Howie, I have
You
been
figured
too,
that
and
out,
I
didn't
now
you?
have
You
6
figured that out.
moringas
Good
that I'm
boy.
going to have to put in the ground, and 2 pawpaws. So they're about this tall right now. They just have their first set of true leaves on, but they're going to have to go soon because neither one of those can live in a pot for long at all.
So anyway, I think we've pretty well figured out that staples are the panic purchases that people want to
I
lay
think
in,
so, yeah.
and that's kind of to be expected because
And it makes sense because if you go into the store or look online at what's available to order, the staples are what are not there. Let's see, Thrifty says some people will come and stay for a little while,
Yeah,
some people will
you're
come and
right.
stay for a long while, some people will come closer towards the end. Yeah, I agree.
You're right. It just depends on who they are, and I'll tell you what, though, we're very grateful for every single person that comes through here
Oh,
because
yes, we are.
this like I said, this is the high point of our day.
Ramblin' Rose made it. I am
There you
glad
go.
to
Hi
see you.
there.
I've got your seeds ready, and I'm going to go over to the post office tomorrow and get them in the mail to you.
She hasn't been feeling well lately.
I'm sorry you're not feeling well. That's too bad.
Not not the virus, I hope.
Sharon, you take care and have a blessed day. It was wonderful to meet you too, and I hope we see you back
It
again.
was. It was nice to meet you. Hope you'll come back.
Yeah, Howie, I'm real excited to get these moringas growing. I had some 2 years ago, but there was a freak frost before I could get them inside, and they died. And they did not come back up, which is what I was told they would do. So
Lisa said she's got enough meat for a couple of months, but she keeps most of it at her daughter's house because they got 6 to feed. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, I'm assuming she lives sort of close. You don't have to drive 2 hours to get a steak, do you?
Howie, Papa is something that I've never even seen. The only reason I ordered the seeds is because when I was a kid, there was a song called Where Oh Where is Little Susie? And part of the chorus was picking up pawpaws and putting them in her pocket. So when I saw that, I said, I've got to do that. I really have to. I know peas have it. I don't really care much for kale. The only way I've been able to eat kale is when I dehydrate it and sprinkle it with a little bit of salt and eat it for like kale chips. But I'm not a real big kale fan. I don't really care much for the bitter herbs. So.
Okay, I wanted to revisit the real world for a second, and this is actually a question I came up with yesterday. I'm kind of curious about how many credit cards do you have? And the reason I got into that is because I was looking in my wallet, and I have 4.
I have
no,
2.
wait, 4 or 3? 2 MasterCard, 3. I guess I've got 3 and my debit card, so I count that kind of as a credit card
Oh,
too.
okay, then I have 3 if you count your debit card.
So,
at 20 miles away, they live your state.
ah,
My son-in-law is a meat eater. I occasionally request a pound or 2 of ground sausage.
oh, meat for flavoring. Okay, well, more power to you.
I do have
I'll
some
take
things
one.
stored
I'll
in
take
my
the
parents'
steaks.
freezer.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a few things stored there.
Hmm.
Not a lot. And Mom knows if she wants it, she can go take it. So I really don't count it as ours, although there's. But
What kind of stuff?
I was trying to
what do you
think
got
what
there?
I got. I have a couple of those big pans of the pulled pork that's already cooked
Oh,
and ready.
yeah.
Just
That
needs
was
to be
good
heated
stuff,
up.
too.
Yeah.
You can get one of those back.
Okay. Howie says Pawpaw is an eastern seaboard grown in wetlands and love a bit of shade. Takes 7 years to get a pawpaw.
I don't think I've ever had pawpaw.
I'll have to grow it underneath the canopy on the side yard.
I kind of expected some of the Thrifty VG's got no credit cards. I kind of
That's
figured
where I
some.
used to be.
The only reason, I'll put it this way, we keep ours paid down to 0. And if I do use it, then like for something I might buy online, then I'll pay it off the next month. Basically, the only reason I do that is it's just my fallback money. If we really got into a bind and needed something, then we do have our credit cards. Oh, ruptured an ankle ligament. Oh, my goodness. Oh,
That's terrible.
oh. That probably hurt a lot.
Melody, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh,
I have to have surgery to correct it. That
terrible.
sucks.
One credit
Yeah.
card that's supposed to be for emergencies, not mine, but the kids have emergencies all the time. I understand that one. I really do, Lisa Johnson.
It's an emergency, Mom. I need your credit card. Yeah. Well,
You know, what's really funny is my girls both are more fiscally responsible and have more financial acumen than I do.
well, one of her daughters is an accountant. So, yeah.
Yes, my youngest daughter is an accountant. Chop up kale, add an egg, flour, and spices, and make into a patty, fry in grease. It's like a burger.
I'll pass on that. I don't like kale.
I might try it just to find out what it tastes like that way.
Only had it a couple of times, and it just did not blow my skirt up. Okay, so let's see. credit cards are good to have, but they can certainly be abused. And there was a time when, my credit cards were like a yoke on the back of my neck. But now that we've got them paid off and paid down and keep them that way, they're definitely still a tool. Just a
Try
tool.
it, Howie. It sounds interesting. I never had credit cards until David and I got married because I just basically am against credit. For myself, I don't like to pay somebody else for the privilege of using my own money. And that's basically what interest is. And every time I had to do that, it would irritate me.
Well,
However,
that's why now I'm
You keep it paid down.
if I just pay it off, then obviously,
Yeah. I do like having credit. It was wonderful when our AC went out this past year to have enough credit that we qualified for good financing. Otherwise, I would have either had to go borrow from my parents or we would have had to do without an AC. And in South Texas, doing without an AC, although I've done it many times, it's very, very hard. And I find as I get older, doing things like that is just not something I want to keep doing.
well, that air conditioner was
Pokeweed can be done this
$20,000 too.
I have no idea what pokeweed is. That's something I've never even heard of. I've heard of poke salad or salad, but I've never even seen that. And the only reason I've heard that is because there used to be a song about poke salad Annie.
Yep.
Lisa Johnson, my husband was a credit card addict.
Oh,
He'd
my
been dead
gosh.
20 years, and I still have about $25,000 yet to pay on his debt. Okay. My goodness. And my dad, my biological dad, was that way too. And when he passed away in 1975, it took Mom a while. I'm sorry, 85. It took Mom a while to get his paid off too.
85? Your dad? Your dad
Yeah.
didn't pass away in 85.
When did he pass away? I don't really remember him. So.
We were together. He was alive when we were together in 96 and 97.
Okay.
So he had to have passed after that, after you came back and I went to Florida.
Okay.
So I would be saying that it was,
Well, I know that my
Around
husband passed away in
2000?
03.
had been, 98, 99, 2000, somewhere in there.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not good with dates. He's not good with names. I'm not good with dates. Block of ice in front of a fan. Yeah. Yeah. Block of
Been
ice.
there,
I've
been
done that many times. And I'll tell you something else I've done, Howie, that has worked for me, sort of. And that is I just powder myself from head to toe with talcum powder. And it absorbs the sweat. And that makes me feel a little cooler. I also have been known to spray the roof of the house with water, and that evaporation cools the inside a little bit. So
I've misted myself, just take a mister and spray it on yourself.
I haven't done that because then the powder gets wet and it doesn't work anymore.
$200,000 in debt the year before he died.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you should have tried to unload that as best you could, Lisa. That's too bad. Well,
That's a shame.
that's a real burden to be carrying still here 20 years later.
Really.
More power to you, darling. Good luck. Okay, moving on. I think I probably know the answer to this one, but we've got a few ladies here. How many of you wear nail polish? Who uses nail polish? Well, Lisa, if he'd have lived longer, maybe they'd have got paid off. Who knows? I don't know whether he'd have just. How in the world do you get $200,000 worth of? But how in the world do you get $200,000 worth of credit when you're not working and they're just throwing cards at him? Apparently.
Howie says he doesn't wear nail
That's what I
polish.
thought. Me neither. See, I don't either. See, that's.
Melody doesn't either.
Yep. I didn't. This does not seem like a fingernail polish crowd. But
Now,
I
years
was just
ago,
curious.
I wore nail polish because I had acrylic nails.
The other side of this question is, do you dye your hair?
Nope.
Now that one there might get a one or two answers. I've always told Kate, as my ex-wife, from the time she was 17 until now, she has no idea what color her hair is. I don't think she's ever gone with her hair uncolored.
And this
So-
is the color of my hair. It's what God gave me, and that's what I've got.
Yep. Oh, well,
Howie
okay,
has
so-
no hair. Me too,
So,
up here.
so you could dye it any color you want then, right? Yeah.
There you go.